Welcome to the weekly outlook. We're here from EWPRO. Getting into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY. So we got the 5 down. We got looking at an A, B, C. We were looking for this C down. It's starting to get even more complex. Like I said over here, when we were down here, I was looking for that 38.2 and possibly the 50 fib. We're up to that 50 fib now. The problem I see now is in this 3 up here, we've lost that bearish divergence. So it becomes very complex. We still can get a correction in here and then a Z up for a W, X, Y, X2, and then a Z finishing off this A, B, C, this C wave in here. Well, this B wave, sorry, like an A, B, and then we get the C down in here. It's starting to get complex, but if we go down to the H4, sorry. So we're looking at, on the H4, we're looking at this W, X, Y, an X2, and then a Z up. We're still in the wave Y. This wave Y may be still over. We may get a correction in here and then get the X2 and then the Z up. But it's just, at this stage, we're still in that wave Y. We're getting a little bit of resistance around this 50 fib on the daily. Ideally, to buy this now, you really need to wait for that X2 and then you can look for that Z up, or else it gets too risky. You're at a top. So if I just quickly go to the weekly, the problem here is we got an A, B, C. Now this is a contracting flat at this stage. That's why I was looking for, this is a correction, another one down, breaking this low over here. Unfortunately, but I also said that this can go from here and break that top as a contracting flat. So we don't really know, because this was looking so corrective in here. I was sort of looking for that one down before we go. So it is becoming quite complex. So on the H4, like I said, if you're going to look for buys, wait for the X2. On the H1, we got bearish divergence in here, between here and here. Then it gave a bull hidden. It wasn't valid to trade, but it's gone up, and I think it may have broken that top. It hasn't quite broken that top. It's virtually a double top there. If we just quickly have a look, yeah, it's pretty much a double top. I'd be only looking for sells. I'd be waiting for a trend line break, in here. Whatever it does in here, wait for your trend line break. Then you can look for that sell in the X2, and then you can look for that Z up. AU on the daily. So it's pretty much going as planned. We're looking at W, X, Y, A, B, C in X2, and then we're looking for that Z down in to the 123.6 and the 161.8 as your second target. It's still going, which is good. Like I said last week, there is a possibility that this is an A, B, C in here as a running or expanding flat, and then we get another one up as a larger correction for an A, B, C in here as a larger correction before we get that a larger move down. But at this stage, it's still going down, so we're looking at it as a wave Z. So on the H4, all we really have here is one move down, so there really isn't much. We got that we got that A, B, C up to the 100 pip, bounced off that 100 pip. And as you remember, if you go back a few weeks, I got into a sell up here. I'm still in that sell. So I'm aiming for those daily targets. On the H1, we got 5 down in here, a larger correction in here, and then we got another one down. Like I said, when we were here, we didn't have any bullish divergence, and we got a bear hidden here. So we were looking for this to go and break the low. It's gone and broken the low, and now we're starting to get bullish divergence. So this is starting to come to an end. This may end up being a larger correction in here for an ABC, and then we get like another impulse down to the targets. So we really have to watch this now. I wouldn't be looking for sells down here. We've got that bullish divergence. I'd be looking for a buy in this wave here as a possible, like a C up, like an A, B, C, just a scalp, really. Ideally, you can't really, I don't really want to be buying until this low here is broken. We want to see this wave Y here broken first, and then we can really start to look at buys and hold them for a longer term. So yeah, on the H1, it's getting very risky to be selling. We got that bullish divergence, so whether you just stay out or look for a C up, you need a setup. There's no setup on there to buy yet. On the EU, on the daily, this is getting very difficult because we get an A. I was looking at an A, B, C in here. We never got that C up, and this one's going way too far. We're back down to the 61.8 retracement of this whole move. So yeah, it's not playing the game. Didn't get that C up to sell, and it's going too far. So this is like a WXY, X2, and then a Z down. That's how I'll have to look at it. So I'll have to change this count. But yeah, so we get a WXY, X2, and then a Z down. Now this may be like a flat in here for the WXY, X2, and then a Z. On the H4, we're looking at this to go and give us that C up on the daily. Instead, it gave us this really choppy move up in here. And then it gave us this sell in here for downside. We don't have any bullish divergence, so you can really only look for sells at this stage. On the H1, I'm looking for that X2. So I'm looking for WXY, an X2, and then a Z down. This doesn't look complete. Like, this isn't the Z down. It's broken the low, but I'm not looking at a Z down. This correction's not large enough. I need a similar size to this. So really, you can only, because we have that bullish divergence on the daily, on the H1, it's very risky to be selling. Ideally, you know, you'd be looking for a buy as some sort of a scalp. You'd need a buy setup to buy, break of the trend line and buy setup. As you see here, we had a bear hidden here, and it's gone and broken that low. It wasn't valid to trade, but it played out anyway. So at this stage, I'd be really staying out of this one at this stage. GU on the daily, this one's playing out like we're looking at A, B, C. We're getting that C down, looking at that 100 pip for your target. And it's already broken the ending point of wave A, and it's broken the low here as well. So that's ideal. We just need to see if this wave's over now, and then we can start to really look for buys. On the H4, we really only got one down. We can look at this as a flat in here for an A, B, C, and then we get another one down in here. But this is looking very corrective in here. I think a couple of weeks ago on the H1, we had that bearish hidden divergence here to give us this one down. So this is looking very corrective still. So more than likely we'll get another one down. If we just go down to the H1, see here we had that bear hidden, and we were looking for that one to break the low. It broke the low, and it's given us that bullish divergence. Unfortunately, this one hasn't gone and given us a buy setup. Instead it's giving us a very corrective structure in here, like I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. There is a possibility you're going to have to be very careful selling this at this stage on the H1, because we have a bull hidden here. So more than likely we'll get like a W, X, Y, X2, and then a Z up, and then possibly trend line break, sell set up, and then you can look for the sell. At this stage, it's very risky to be selling because we have that possible bull hidden here. And you could, if you get a bullish setup in here, you could look for the buy just to break that top. More than likely, it's just going to be a scalp to break that top, and then it'll fall over, give you that sell setup for more downside, down to that 100 fib on the daily. NU on the daily, again, like I've been saying for quite some time, this is very, it's not a clear structure, so I'd be really staying out of it. We got a higher high here, like I've been saying, and more than likely this will give some sort of a bull hidden here, and then give us another one up. On the daily, it's not a clear structure though, so really you can only scalp it. On the H4, we're looking at A, B, C. We got the C up. Then we get like a WX. We're still in a wave Y here. So wherever this wave here ends, you could look for an X2 and then a Z down, and then possibly go and breaking the top as some sort of a larger flat in here for an A, B, C. But yeah, there's really, if we go down to the H1, it's very choppy. It's extremely choppy. We do have like, we have bullish divergence here now, so very risky to be selling. You could possibly look at this as a larger flat here, but yeah, I'd be staying out of it because the daily is not a clear structure. I'd be just staying out of it and looking for other pairs that giving us a better structure to trade, you know. Looking at UY, we're looking at that A, B, C up to this 100 fib. It looking very bullish here, like I've been saying for the last few weeks. I was looking for a breakout here and then going up to the 100 fib. On the H4, we were still waiting. Last week we were still waiting for that time factor. I said, you know, wait for this time factor before you buy. Last week, if you got into a buy, you know, it's only a scalp. I said, you know, only look for the scalp because we really want to wait for this time factor. We didn't have any bullish divergence. So very risky to be buying. We got on the H1, we got this up in here, and I said, yeah, you can look for that buy just above this top. So if you got in that, you would have got, and it was only a scalp, like I said, it's only a scalp, so you would have got a few pips out of that. We got a bearish setup here. So if you're in that, more than likely it'll be a break even because we already have bullish divergence here between these two. So you could draw your trend line here, and if it does break out, gives you a buy setup, well then you could possibly look for that buy. But again, on the H4, we haven't got that time factor yet, so it makes it difficult. I'd really like to see this come down here for an A, some sort of a larger B, and then a C as a running or expanding flat, and then look for your buy. It's, yeah, this stage on H1, you can only really, because we have this bearish divergence in here, it makes it very difficult. If you're not in this one already, in this sell here, it's going to be difficult. And more than likely, like I said, it'll be a break-even trade, and you could possibly get into a buy, but even that buy will just be a scalp because, yeah, it's unclear on the daily. On the Swissy, on the daily, we're looking at A, B, C in the B wave, and then we're looking for that C down. We're still going up, so this one's playing nicely. We're looking at that 100 fib, and then we'll start to look for those sells. On the H4, we're looking for this. We're looking for an X2, and then a Z up. I don't know where me. Here they are here. So this wave Y may not be over yet. This may give an internal correction in here, breaking the top, and it still be in the wave Y. So we're not real clear that we haven't got a cross down on the MACD, so it still can go up more, and we're not in the X yet. On the H1, like I showed, I was looking for this as an extended wave. If we just zoom in a bit, I was looking at it as an extended wave in wave Y, because we got 1, 2, 3, looking at a bull hidden here, and then another one up for the Z, and that'll finish off that wave Y on the H4, and then, you know, we get that X2 and then the Z up. It's still possible that this is an X2 internal, because we've got a WXY wherever this ends on the H1. So I'm looking at this as an extended wave in wave Y, and yeah, so trade accordingly. I dare say if you get any buy set up here, in here, you know, you can look for that buy to go and break that top. Yeah, if you get that buy, you can look for it, but it's only really a scalp just to break that top, and then more than likely we'll get the larger correction. UCAD on the daily. So like I've been saying, whatever's happening in here, I'm looking at it as corrective for a B wave, and then we get that C up. H4, like I've been saying for ages, we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We never got that 5th down. So we just got a 333 here as a complex correction because we never got that 5 down in here. This one didn't break the low. So like I've been saying, on the H1, we're looking at this as the flat in here. Because this one didn't go and break that low, we're looking at it as an A, B, C, or W, X, Y, X, Z, 5 up. This was your buy setup in here. And last week, we had that bull hidden. So I said, you know, whatever's happening in here, look for the buy to go and break the top. It's done that now, and we've got bearish divergence. So we were looking for the buy to go and break that top last week. It's done that, and we have bearish divergence. So very risky to be buying again. It's already completed. We already got bearish divergence. So once you get bearish divergence, it's risky to be trading against the divergence. This may turn into a larger correction here because this is like really choppy. So this may give us a running or expanding flat in here for an A, B, C in here. You could look at it that way. But at this stage, I'd really be looking for a sell. It's not ideal because it's not going with the daily trend. So, you know, it'll only be a scalp. And like I said, it'll only be a scalp down to this 100 fib, A, B, C, wherever this 100 fib is. So if you do get a sell set up in here, you can look for that sell only as a scalp because it can turn into a running flat for more upside. So you'll have to be careful of that. GY on the daily, we got the 5 up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to that first target 123.6. We got the cross down. Here we got WXY X2. Well, this is a larger correction, so it's not an X2. We were just looking for X2 down to that 38.2. It's gone straight past both and the 50 fib. So it's a larger correction. There is that possible bull hidden though, like I've been saying. So this may go and give us another one up. It's unclear at this stage. Last week we got that breakout in here, but it gave us it didn't give us a buy setup. I said, if I go down to the H1, I'll show you what I said last week. Last week, we wanted it to break above this top, and it done that. And then I wanted it to break above this top because we had that bullish divergence. So really, I wanted it to break above this top and then give us a buy setup and then go. It broke above that top and then it gave us a sell setup in here. And this one's actually gone further than I thought it would too, because, you know, I just thought it would be during the week, I just thought it'd be an A, B, C in here. Get a trend line break, a bullish setup, and you could look for the buy. Now it's become difficult because we don't have any bullish divergence in between the here, you know. So it's made it difficult to trade. It's not playing nicely. If this had given us a bullish setup in here, it would have been perfect. Instead, you know, it's giving a larger correction. So more than likely, this will be like a WXY. We'll get a bear hidden in here, another one down here on the M15 before it gives us another one up, like an ABC or something in here. If I just quickly go down to the M15, so it's not giving us that bear hidden. I might go down to the M30. Yeah, see, we haven't got the cross up or anything yet. So it's not giving the bear hidden yet, but you'll have to watch that. EG on the daily. This one's, yeah, if I just zoom out. So we're looking at that WX, Y, X2, and then the Z down. It come down to that first target, the 123.6. Then it gave us that nice move up, and I was looking for a bullish setup up here to go up. It's actually fallen over last week, or this week that's just been. So I was looking last week for an A, B, and then a C up. Instead, it's given this sell setup, and it's just fallen over. It's broken the low. There's no bullish divergence, so you can only really look for sells. You know, we had a bear hidden here, between this top here. It wasn't valid to trade, but yeah, it's gone and broken the low. So you can really only scalp shorts, and I'd only be scalping shorts because we were at a low. You know, yeah, I'd be staying out of it and just waiting for the buy setup. The gold on the daily. So looking at A, B, C, like I've been saying, we didn't get that buy set up in here to go up to that C wave. Instead, we got a really deep correction in here, which made it difficult. We go on the H4. We got this we got this A, B, C up to the 100 pip. But like I've been saying, this was very choppy in here, so this could have been an A, B, C in here before it went. Instead, it went eventually, but yeah, it's not the clearest looking structure now. More than likely, this will give a whatever happens in here. It's looking rather corrective. I dare say that whatever happens in here, it'll give a bull hidden here, and then we'll get another one up. This doesn't look complete. It's very risky because of structure on the daily. It's very choppy. So last week I said it's very risky to buy because we just broke that top over here, and we had that bearish divergence. So I said it was very risky to be buying. I'd be waiting for a sell setup. You sort of got a sell set up in here. So if you're in that, you know, being break even, because this is looking A, B, C in here. So if you get a trend line break, bullish setup, you can look for the scalp to buy, but again, you'll have to wait for this wave to end. At this stage, we do have bullish divergence, but that can change. Like, yeah, this may be like a WXY, XZ. So to give you that bullish divergence on that we have on the H4, and then then we go and break that top. So that's something to consider if you're looking to trade gold. On the daily, on the WTI, we got the 5 up, we got the WXY, X2, Z up, nearly hit the second target, which is the 161.8. Didn't quite get there. We got the first target. It's still looking rather bullish. It hasn't really fallen over. I guess on the H4, we're looking at that possible Z up here, but it never broke the top. Like I said, the last couple of weeks, it never broke the top. And we had that bear hidden here to go and break that low, like I said last week. We were in here somewhere, and I said, we got that bear hidden here, so more than likely this will go and break that low. That's what it's done. Has it given us bullish divergence? Now we do have bullish divergence now on the H4, because we were looking at this as a flat in here, like I said last week, a WX, well, an ABC. But yeah, we do have bullish divergence. But yeah, I'll have to go down to the H1 and see what we're actually getting here. See, we already have bullish divergence. Not sure. Yeah, see, we had this correction in here. This didn't give bear hidden, I don't think. Or did it? Yes, it did. It gave us a bear hidden, and it's gone and broken the low. This one here gave us a bear hidden, broken the low, and now we have bullish divergence. So, you know, you can really only buy once you get a trend line break. You could look for a buy just for an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat. It's more of a scalp because, yeah, just the way the price action is, this is so choppy. It's extremely choppy. So, and we're at a top on the on WTI as well. So, you know, really, this would have been nice if this H4 went and broke that top. Then we can have definitely looked for sells and hold them for a longer term. But because it's so choppy and we didn't get that high on the H4, it's made it difficult. So just have to scalp. You're basically scalping WTI. Bitcoin, like I said last week, we broke the top. We got a Z up. We don't have any bearish divergence in between these tops. So we're looking at this as a correction in here. So last week we're looking for a little bit more downside as a running or expanding flat before we get more upside. We've finally crossed down here now. So we'll be looking for like a W, X, Y, X2, and then a Z up. Ideally, we get bull hidden here. So we get a bull hidden. And then we can look for the buy setup on the lower time frames. On the H4, we're looking at that W, X, Y, X2, Z up. Like I said, we didn't have the bearish divergence, and now we're looking for that larger correction. At the start, I was just looking for an A, B, C in here. Instead, it went and broke that top, but we're still looking at it as a larger correction. Last week, I was saying last week, looking at this as a flat in here for either running or expanding flat. Well, it's gone and broken this low, so it's an expanding flat. We just have to wait for the buy setup. This was just selling here last week. You had a sell set up in here. But on the H1, we're looking at W, X, Y, wait for your X2, back to the 38.2, and then a Z down. More than likely, we have a little cross here. So we don't really want it to, I'd like to see it as something like an A, B, and a C up in here for the X2 before we get that Z down. So you really want to wait for the 3 waves up and then look for your sell. If it breaks above this top, because at this stage we do have a possible bear hidden here, it's not valid to trade, but sometimes they do go, even though they're not valid to trade. I'd be waiting. If you do get like a buy set up in here, you could scalp that C up, like an A, B, C in here on the lower time frames. And then if it breaks a trend line, gives you a sell set up, well, then you could look for that sell. SPX on the daily. So eventually we're looking for this A, B, C. We're looking for a larger correction eventually. We lost, we got a lot of bearish divergence. We had that bull hidden here. It's gone and broken the top. I do have targets and that on here for a trade view idea that I did. So on the H4, we're looking at W, X, Y, X2, and then the Z up. Still looking for this as a correction in here for an A, B, C in X2 before we get another one up. H1. See, I was just looking for this as the invalidation point. On that trade, we had a little sell set up on here. It did go. If you have a look at my trade idea on this, I took it on the M15 and it come back up and took me out at break even. So it was a no trade for me. Well, it was a trade, but I got a break even out of it. I'm still looking at this as an A, B, C, as you can see. So if you do get any sell set up on it, because we do have bearish divergence, if you get any sort of sell set up in here, look for that C down. You'd be targeting that 100 fib. I think that 100 fib may be wrong now. Yeah. So this is your 100 fib here. You're looking for this 100 fib here. For yourself set up for your first target, and second target, I'll be targeting that 38.2, like I've been saying, you know, on the H4, we wanted to get that 38.2 retracement in X2 to give us a risk reward. But yeah, AU 200 on the daily, this is really, I'm going to stay out of this. Like, there was that possibility that, you know, we had that ball hidden here, like S&P to go up and break that top. This is looking very corrective for downside. On the H4, we're looking at this as a flat in here, like I've been saying, and because we had that ball hidden here to go and break that top, I went and broke that top. Now we've got bearish divergence. So we're looking for a sell setup. Instead, this is very choppy. Like, it went up and broke the top, deep correction, and then it still hasn't broken the tops or the bottoms. It's like giving us some sort of triangle in here. So making it very difficult to trade. I will be staying out of this because we're not getting higher highs and we're not getting lower lows. It's just staying in the middle. There's no clear direction. If anything, I'll be looking for the sells, you know. But yeah, so in here you're getting a correction, and you can only really scalp it because it's unclear. So you're looking at an A, B, C in here, because this is very corrective, this in here. So if you get a little sell set up in here, you could scalp the short. Very risky. I'll be staying out of it. The DAX on the daily. So we got a WXY, X2, Z up to the 123.6, the first target. On the H4, looking for this X2 and then a Z up. So we really need to get some downside here to give us that X2. Should draw this. So we're looking for that 38.2 retracement, fib retracement, to give us a risk reward. I'd be looking for the sell on this one. We got high here with bearish divergence. If you go down on the lower time frames, you probably get an A, B, C in here. Trend line break, bearish setup. If you get the bearish setup, look for the sell. The FTSE on the daily. Now, unfortunately, my videos were cut short last week, but we're looking at WXY, X2 and the Z up. It's got up to that 161.8. I'm looking for downside because on the weekly we have that possible bear hidden, so we can see that low be broken. So that's the third target here. I put an idea on TradingView on this on the daily chart, and on the H4 we just got one down. We got bearish divergence So we got all this bearish divergence. We got a lower low. So you can really only look for sells. I'd be only looking for sells. If you get the larger H4 correction, look for the sell. On the H1, this gave a really nice setup in here. And this is where I put that idea out on TradingView. I was looking at an A, B, C in here. It bounced off that 100 fib. I'm in this trade just under this 100 fib here. But now we got a WXY, X2. We didn't quite have bear hidden here, but we got a Z down. We don't have any bullish divergence. So I'm looking for more downside. More than likely, like it's looking bullish in here for another one up in here. Maybe it'll give bear hidden in here and then another one down or a larger correction. But either way, I'm looking for that sell down to the first target, at least that first target, because this may turn into, on the daily, it may turn into an A, B, C, like I've been saying for ages. I've been looking at this as a C wave, B wave, sorry, for an A, B, C. So this is my first target here. That's why I've got that first target in case it's a running flat here. If it's a running flat, you know, so that's why I've got the first target there. Second target is the 50 fib. I'll just show you my trade. So this is on my live account, and you can see where I got in just under that 100 fib there, the sell. I'm still in this trade because we didn't get any of the bullish divergence. So we didn't get any of that bullish divergence on the H1, so I kept my trade, or else I would have got out. If we were starting to get that bullish divergence, I would have got out at the 161.8, or at least got out a half. Because we lost that divergence, I'm still in it. And if you want to see that trade, here it is here. This is on TradingView. So follow me on TradingView, because if you miss the weekly outlook, and I see a good setup, I'll post it on here so you can see the sell setup here where I was looking for. And as you see, my trade, I got in here and I was at break even at this point, moved to break even. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook, and share, like, subscribe, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.